Don't let him get up! I won't surrender!
You open your eyes and find yourself lying on a beach. But this isn't a luxury vacation. The air tastes entirely different, thick with oxygen, and the stifling humidity wraps around your skin like a wet blanket. The sky seems strangely vivid. Yet, the first thing that makes you realize you are no longer in the modern world isn't the giant ferns or the deafening buzz of insects the size of your forearm. It's the footprint right next to your head. It's three-toed, roughly the size of a bathtub, deeply pressed into the sand and still filling with seawater. In that exact moment, your brain, programmed to process modern threats like changing traffic lights or car horns, plunges into a state of panic. It desperately tries to explain this irrational phenomenon using data from a safe world filled with coffee shops and Wi-Fi. But that is completely useless here. You have dropped right into the late Cretaceous period, a time when the food chain was brutally rewritten, and your position, unfortunately, is at the very bottom. Over tens of millions of years, nature orchestrated the fiercest biological arms race in Earth's history. The result of that race was the birth of predatory machines that reached absolute perfection. During however long you manage to survive in this place, you are going to face most of them. Some prefer to end their prey in a flash. Some like to play and slowly enjoy the process. Some roam alone, and some bring an entire army. But they all share one fatal characteristic. They have spent millions of years evolving specifically to be better at killing than you are at not dying. Join my channel as we step into the most realistic nightmare, analyzing the science and the ultimate terror of becoming prey to history's most terrifying creatures. The first one is already approaching. The vibration of its footsteps travels through the ground. Your brain finishes the survival math before you can even blink. Run. Now. You start sprinting through the dense fern bushes, trying to move as fast as humanly possible. Everything seems somewhat manageable until the ground begins vibrating beneath your feet in a rhythm that simply shouldn't exist in nature. The tremors are steady, heavy, and carry a sense of extreme menace. Then, the entire forest suddenly falls dead silent. Not a bird chirps, not a cricket sings. This silence makes your stomach drop, because in the wild, when everything abruptly stops making noise, it means the one who decides life and death has just arrived. The next heavy thump is closer. You turn your head, driven by the ancient instinct of a species that used to be prey in the distant past. Standing right at the tree line is a Tyrannosaurus rex. It stands about 6 meters tall at the hip, possessing body proportions seemingly designed by a creator who only understood pure violence. Its skull is the size of a large refrigerator, studded with thick, conical teeth, not flat like butcher knives, but optimized specifically for piercing and crushing solid bone and marrow. When it spots you, it emits a bizarre sound, somewhere between a low, guttural roar and the furious exhale of a demon. You run. It is the only decision you can make. The T-Rex breaks into a charge. And here is where evolutionary mathematics proves its cruelty. The top speed of a human, when panicking hard enough, hovers around 25 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, this 7-ton monster can comfortably stride at 20 kilometers per hour without even trying. It doesn't need to sprint, because scientifically speaking, you aren't actually outrunning it. You are merely prolonging your existence by a few seconds. Biologically, the T-Rex is an armor-breaking machine. It evolved to hunt heavily armored prey like Triceratops, so your soft, fleshy body is practically tofu to it. The 30-meter distance is erased in a flash. The last thing you consciously register is not pain, but a horrific pressure. 8 tons of bite force, one of the strongest ever to exist on land, leaves absolutely no time for your nervous system to even comprehend what is happening. Its jaws clamp around your torso, the banana-sized teeth punching through your ribs and organs in a single, devastating motion. Your body instantly reacts by flooding your system with endorphins as your internal organs shut down. The physiological shock hits before the pain can reach your brain. Analytically speaking, being taken down by a T-Rex is a lightning-fast death. While terrifying, in terms of nature's mercy, it is far more humane than the predators who decide you are worth eating, but not worth rushing for. The true horror of the Cretaceous lies in its ecological transition zones. Imagine you are wading in a shallow river in North Africa, the water up to your ankles. 2 days have passed without food, and starvation makes people stupid, stripping away all barriers of caution. The water is murky but quiet, with just a few gentle ripples, a sign that should make you back away, but you ignore it. The attack happens before your retinas can even send the image to your brain. The water surface explodes, throwing up a curtain of white spray, and you have exactly 1 split second to see a crocodilian-like jaw scaled up to nightmare proportions before it clamps onto your midsection. This is not a crushing bite like the T-Rex's. This bite pierces and locks you in place with dozens of conical teeth. Behind those jaws is the Spinosaurus, a creature up to 15 meters long with a massive sail on its back that slices through the air as it rises. Anatomically, the Spinosaurus's snout is equipped with highly sensitive pressure receptors, similar to modern crocodiles, allowing it to sense your tiniest movements in the water, even with its eyes closed. It had been waiting in this exact spot, perfectly still. The Spinosaurus yanks you backward into deeper water with a force that instantly dislocates your shoulders. In the muddy water, you are thrashed around helplessly. Its jaws act like a natural chainsaw as it violently shakes its neck from side to side. The drowning process takes about 40 seconds of absolute panic, while the predator leisurely tears you apart. That is freshwater, but out in the open ocean, the hopelessness is absolute. There are no shores, no shallows, no visual reference points to indicate where danger lies, which means it is everywhere. You are floating on the calm, sunlit surface of a shallow Cretaceous sea, a cruel joke played by the ocean right before it ends you. Beneath your feet is endless blue. No dark shadows glide by, but the Mosasaurus has been watching you from directly underneath for the past 3 minutes. They do not circle to intimidate like sharks. The Mosasaurus is the pinnacle of reverse evolution. Returning from terrestrial lizards to the sea, they pick a moment and commit their entire body weight to it. 15 tons of reptile surges upward at 50 kilometers per hour. The impact is so severe, it launches you into the air before jaws the size of a sofa slam shut. Underwater, everything is chaos, pressure, and bubbles. The Mosasaurus possesses a specialized secondary set of teeth on the roof of its mouth, designed to hold and swallow prey without needing to release and bite again. As it thrashes to separate your muscle tissue, you have no leverage to fight back. You black out after about 15 seconds from oxygen deprivation and massive trauma before it begins to swallow you whole. If deep water is where death hides, the swamp is where the trap is laid right in front of your eyes, completely invisible. Look at Dinosaurus, the giant ancient crocodilian. Their secret to success, the reason this body design remained unchanged for tens of millions of years, is absolute stealth. You kneel by the edge of the swamp to drink. The scenery is peaceful. You can hear turtles splashing in the distance. You have no idea that Dinosaurus has been lying 3 meters away for the past 20 minutes, perfectly camouflaged as a rotting log, thanks to its specialized dorsal scales. The ambush is instantaneous. The water erupts. Jaws wielding up to 10 tons of bite force slam shut around your legs. Your femurs don't just break, they shatter into tiny fragments. You are dragged down into the mud. And then, the death roll begins. In terms of evolutionary physics, the death roll isn't just a habit. It's the only mechanical way a creature without hands can tear flesh from large prey. Its 6-ton body spins wildly underwater, twisting your legs entirely off your hips, while the rest of you spins in the opposite direction. The pain is so immense that your nervous system automatically disconnects to protect itself. Moving back to dry land, if ambushers use patience, the Giganotosaurus employs a far more sadistic psychological tactic, draining your life away. You are crossing a barren desert landscape under blistering heat. The 13-meter Giganotosaurus doesn't rush to tackle you. It approaches casually. When it accelerates to close the gap, instead of knocking you down, it simply swings its head sideways, sinking its teeth into your back for half a second before releasing. This is the core difference. A Giganotosaurus's teeth aren't meant for crushing bone like a T-Rex. They are like serrated iron steak knives, thin and razor-sharp. Just a light snap is enough to slice off several kilograms of muscle. You stumble and run, while the monster simply strolls 20 meters behind you, waiting. It uses biology against you. Gravity and blood loss will do the rest of the work. You run for 50 meters before your blood pressure drops catastrophically. As you fall to your knees, it finally approaches to deliver a second bite, severing your thigh ligaments. It stands there, watching you slowly fade away in a pool of your own blood. A highly efficient hunting strategy that minimizes the risk of injury to the predator, but an utterly terrifying experience for the victim. The terror of facing one giant monster can paralyze you, but the absolute worst scenario is realizing that the brutality is organized. Imagine being hunted not by one, but by a pack of Giganotosaurus in South America. They are colossal apex predators, but when necessary, they coordinate. They move in diagonal vectors, cutting off every possible escape route. Their tactics aren't complex, but mathematically perfect in their spatial awareness. When you try to dodge the one on the left, the one on the right immediately steps in to bite. They don't finish you off quickly. They take turns, turning your panic into poor decisions until you collapse from exhaustion and blood loss. Even worse is the Mapusaurus. Fossil evidence suggests they lived and hunted in large packs. You could have up to 5 of them surrounding you. They take turns lunging from 3 different sides. It's not chaotic, it's a systematic cycle. One bites, the others wait. Then they rotate. You don't get a single second to breathe. Your body will simply stop responding before you actually die. A final defense mechanism of the brain against this methodical torture. But when it comes to absolute precision and the horror of speed, the raptor family are the true artists of death. You build a campfire in the woods, thinking the light will keep the beasts away. That is the mindset of a modern human. To a Utahraptor, the fire is a homing beacon. 3 6-meter-long, incredibly agile and stealthy beasts have surrounded you. They attack simultaneously. One leaps onto your back, driving 2 sickle-shaped claws, each over 20 centimeters long, deep into your ribs. Biomechanical analysis shows that a raptor's claws weren't just for slashing like razor blades. They acted like a mountaineer's crampons. Once driven into your flesh, they lock in place, pinning you to the ground with hundreds of kilograms of body weight. You cannot fight back. While the one on your back pins you, the other 2 begin to eat you alive while you are still completely conscious. If you encounter a lone Dakotaraptor, things aren't much better. With astonishing agility, it can deliver a glancing kick, using its razor-sharp sickle claw to unzip your abdomen like a jacket. Your intestines spill out while it takes a step back, tilting its head curiously as you desperately try to hold your life in with your bare hands. Their skeletons were engineered with the flexibility of a bird and the power of a dinosaur. A perfect architectural marvel that a human has absolutely zero chance of fending off bare-handed. Though all these scenarios take place in the Cretaceous, nature's cold brutality hasn't disappeared. It has merely downsized. Look at real-world examples in modern times to see the chilling parallels. In 1945, on Ramree Island, Japanese soldiers were pushed into a mangrove swamp. In the dead of night, hundreds of men fell victim to giant saltwater crocodiles. The screams in the dark, the splashing water, and the sudden disappearance of men to ambush predators are exact remnants of the tactics used by the ancient Deinosuchus. Or consider the story of Gustav, the legendary giant Nile crocodile in Burundi. rumored to have taken the lives of over 300 people. Gustav is cunning, silent, and uses the exact same lightning-fast strikes and death rolls to claim his victims before they even notice a ripple on the water. These modern predators are living proof that the biological designs of the Cretaceous were evolutionary masterpieces, so efficient that the Earth has kept them around to this very day. The story of these prehistoric superpredators isn't just a gory scenario meant to scare you. It is a profound lesson in humility and the laws of creation. For millions of years, nature never cared about the pride or the intelligence of a newly emerged ape species. In the primal food chain, muscle, claws, speed, and survival instincts are the only recognized currency. We humans have been lucky enough to build a world of concrete and steel, isolating ourselves from the cruel rules of the wild. But through the lens of paleontology, we realize just how small and fragile we truly are. Respecting nature, fearing the power of evolution, and understanding the roots of life is how we learn to truly value the present.